Sing ciao everybody. Welcome back. You're watching Vietnam Steve, and I've got a good one for you today. I've just spent the holiday season. Ooh, got a bit wet there. I hope it was wet. Just spent the holiday season down under doing holiday type stuff, and I have to say it's been very, very, very relaxing. So it's a few days into the new year now, and we're down at a little water playground with a couple of the grandkids, and they're having a bit of a splash around. It's a cooler day today because we had a bit of rain overnight, and that's fantastic. The day yesterday was 100 degrees here and very, 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 very humid. So three things I wanted to talk to you about today as we gear up for moving into exile. And firstly, rest assured, I will be giving you the glories of Vietnam into 2025, just not as often as we used to. We've got a few trips back planned because we've got things we've got to wrap up, and so that'll give me the opportunity to jump on and say hello to the community. So it's curtains for the prolific Vietnam Steve as he moves into exile, but we will see some of the joys of Vietnam. So that's the first thing today. Let me just take a minute here to turn you around and see this beautiful park that I'm in. So while I've been talking to you, this is the sort of park that I've been looking at. These trees are called Moreton Bay fig trees, and these are probably medium-sized ones, but needless to say they're beautiful trees here, and nothing better in amongst the natural beauty of trees to stick a rubbish bin that's 5 foot high. So they paid somebody to do that. A lot of people come down here. It's early in the morning at the moment, so obviously not as packed as it could be. It was very packed yesterday, but yesterday was a very hot day. Over the background over here, behind the trees, which you can't see, is the bay where I live, and so no doubt we'll get some happy snaps of the bay in upcoming VARTs, but today I just wanted to talk to you about the three things that have been on my mind. And the first one is, look, we are going to get some Vietnam Steve VARTs happening. Now, of course, you can take Vietnam Steve out of Vietnam, but you can't take Vietnam out of Vietnam Steve. And so, yeah, I am out doing the 5 at 5 this morning with 2 grandkids at the water park, and my son's watching them. And the thing that's really made me smile today is I've managed to put on odd socks, which is typically a thing I do in Vietnam. I have no idea where, well, you only know you lose socks when you lose odd socks. If you lost the entire pair, you would never know. So clearly, you know, I've probably lost 3 pairs of socks, but because they were pairs, I'd never know. So I'm in the odd socks today, but I do match on thickness rather than colour, so it doesn't affect me. But I've already had 2 comments, and I've only been down here for a few minutes. Another thing we've got down here for people is a bit of a wading pool. So people don't swim in the bay here. It's muddy and brown and full of sharks. But there is this pool that gets sort of filtered a couple of times a year, and that's not a bad pool. Now it's only about a metre deep, but the thing I like to see in this pool is people come down with their remote control boats, and sailboats and sail them around there. So it is fantastic. So it's a very picturesque place I'm at here today, and just wrapping my head around life in the West and how that's going to actually pan out. I am a frugal guy, and before I left Vietnam, I ditched a pair of walking shoes because they'd really fallen apart. I'd thrown a tyre basically, and the issue is, little microphone's working. I've had 2 comments today about you really need to retire those shoes you've got on now, Vietnam Steve. And I said, but these are the better of the 2 pairs. So I dare say these ones are going to be retired fairly shortly. I just like to smash out 5 kilometres in them, and when I blow an inner tube, I'll get a new one. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about today, and thanks to all of you that subscribed, and those of you that watched my my last video. The last video is the most popular video in the last 6 months, so people are pretty happy to see the back of me. Really appreciated your comments, and also all your kind words. So the tide goes in and out here, and it's up very high today. This is probably 2 metres higher than it normally is, so it must have a king tide today. The second thing I wanted to talk to you today about was what I'm going to do when I'm back in Australia, and I have to say, I think I'm really going to struggle. I find the government overreach to be concerning, and it does trigger me, and so I've got to be careful about that. You know, the example I have just from yesterday is that here in Australia, the local government, they paint rectangular boxes on the side of the road so that people know where to park their cars. It's like, you know, you got to be 18 and pass a test with 100 hours of driving training to drive a car. You can't tell me in that 100 hours you'd learn how to park a car next to the edge of the road and not need a white box painted on the road. So the diminished mentality of some of the stuff I see, and I use the word diminished because we're not allowed to say retarded, is really going to get to me. The other thing that is an absolute ring stinger is the cost of things. And if you think about just coming down here today, my son's put $50 of gas in the car. There's probably about 25 litres. Well, our tax here is 50 or 60 cents a litre. So he's paid $13 to the government to get us down here. And then he spent $25 on shite at the shop for the girls. And we have a 10% GST, so there's another $2.50. So it's cost we've paid the government $15 to come down here today. And it is nice, but they haven't done much to get the water here. It's come in of its own accord. And this jetty I'm walking on's been here for 80 years. So I will struggle with a lot of those things, and I've just got to not let it get to me. And luckily I'll have a Vietnamese family here with me to calm me down. But it is a thing, and the older you get, the more curmudgeonly you get, and the more cranky you get. And so I've got to try not to be cranky, and be a A happy Vietnam Steve in exile. Got some little boys here fishing, which will be me if it wasn't so hot when I'm actually frying here. But I'd like to know in the comments if you've gone back to the west after setting yourself up in the east and just been broken-hearted for the diminished approach to life that you see. And I know some of you won't be going back, and I envy you, but I've got to do what I've got to do, and it'll all work out. So decisions and costs are really going to make me struggle, and you'll probably hear a lot about that in 2025. I will be getting a boat. I used to have a boat when I originally lived here, because this is a bay behind me, and the bay is quite protected. There's islands over there 4 miles away, 5 miles away, and so you can't get into too much trouble out in the bay, and it'll be great going out there. You can eat the fish out of this bay. If there's one left and you catch it, you can eat it, but needless to say, I think the last fish is probably almost gone. I hope you've enjoyed this New Year of art from down under. By the time you're watching this, I'll probably be back in Vietnam, because I'm heading back on the weekend, and you'll get a couple of more homegrown ones from Vietnam. I've gone the wrong way. I'm going to have to go right around here. So number one, rest assured there's more varts coming. Number two, don't get too cut up about the craziness that you see in the world today. Most of it doesn't affect me. I go down my street here. I've got to turn left or right at the bottom of the street. That's the first decision of the day. And nothing that the government does helps me with that decision. Nothing that the media tells me helps me with that decision. I've actually got to make that decision on my own. So most of the stuff that gets fed to us is just noise. Thirdly, please make sure you're resilient. You know, if what happens to me happens to you, you can make those changes. You don't get too bent out of shape about it. And at the end of the day, when things don't work out, you've got plan B, C and D. And with my wife, we've got plan B, C and D. So, you know, we're doing plan A, because this is B, which is now A. A didn't work out. So we're doing plan B, which is now plan A. And then, don't worry, we've got plan B and C as well. And luckily, she's a supportive lady, and the two girls are very mature young women. All right, that's it. You probably won't get another one from down under. If you do, I'll have to charge you a fee for it. But look forward to talking to you when I'm back in Vietnam. And maybe I'll explain what the Vietnam Steve Manifesto is. Let's wait and see. So these little fellas are tasty little treats. These are called bin chickens, and they go nicely on the barbecue, and really good with some chili sauce. So one of the things that is exciting coming to Australia is be able to get a bin chicken sandwich on a sunny afternoon.